Okay, let's call this meeting the Haysville Planning Commission to order. First item of business is a roll call.
Blood,
Here.
Plummer,
Here.
Franken,
Here.
Azir,
Here.
Coleman, Atkins, Williams.
Here.
Next item of business is the presentation and approval of minutes of August 25th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Have a motion and second to approve as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Next item under no special order of business, under new business, we have a public hearing to consider zone change request from E heavy commercial to F light industrial. To protect the rights of all parties involved and in order to create an opportunity for everyone to speak their opinions and present information, the Haysville Planning Commission follows a specific procedure in reaching a decision. Copies available at the door. Your attention to this procedure is appreciated. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I move to open the public hearing.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? We are now formally open for the public hearing to consider zone change request for the city of Haysville. Do any members of the Planning Commission have a conflict of interest in this case? Any members have received any written or electronic communications on this matter?
No.
Staff, please present.
Good evening. Before you is the staff report for the zone change. The applicant is applying for a zone change from E heavy commercial to F light industrial. A public hearing notice was published on August 18th and letters were mailed out to area residents within 200 feet to the north, south, east, and west of the subject property. Legal consideration of the finding of facts for Chapter 16, 700B of the zoning regulations provides specific matters for consideration by the Planning Commission when approving or not approving rezoning request for a specific property. In order to properly make a recommendation to the City Council, the Planning Commission must make specific and substantial findings supporting its recommendations. For Part 1 of the zoning use and characteristics of the neighborhood, the subject property has been vacant since June of 2021 and was bought at the end of 2021 in December. Adjacent properties are developed AAA, large single family to the north, E heavy commercial to the south, D light commercial to the west, and F light industrial to the east. It is not uncommon for this area to have light industrial for the district. 2, suitability of the subject property for the uses of which has been restricted. The property is currently zoned E heavy commercial. The use permitted to F light industrial district is suitable for the site and compatible with surrounding zoning and land use. 3, extent to which the removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect the nearby property. The property is currently surrounded by heavy commercial and light industrial. Staff does not foresee any detrimental impacts to nearby property if the request is granted. The property will be light industrial and have the same size, height, and setback regulations as the existing zoning. 4, the length of time the property has remained vacant as zoned is basically was 5-6 months, because that was from June to December of last year. 5, the relative gain to the public health, safety, and welfare as compared to the loss in value or the hardship imposed upon the applicant. The health and safety and welfare matters associated with the proposed F light industrial district should not be significantly different than the associated those with E heavy commercial zoning. 6, conformance to the requested change to be adopted or recognized to the comprehensive plan. The Haysville land use plan identifies the property as commercial. The comprehensive plan provides the following goals for industrial, and that's provide a diversified, stable industrial sector that will afford the citizens of Haysville a broad economic base. 7, impact of the proposed development on community facilities. Municipal water and sewer are available to the property. Municipal services such as police and fire protection are already provided to the area, and no additional burden is anticipated that could be accommodated with existing resources. This lot is located east of Broadway Avenue, a 5-lane highway, and north of Kane Drive, a single-lane local street. 8, opposition or support from neighborhood residents. We have not received any communication of this proposed zone change. 9, recommendation of the staff. Based off of the preceding facts, staff is approving the approval of the zone change with the provisions the protective overlay be added. Recommendations for the protective overlay 10 are uses not allowed would be outdoor salvage, outside storage yard and towing, auction house, car sales repair, flea market, and commercial storage, which includes units available for rent by individuals. Restrictions on permitted use for the animal hospital and kennels. A, when located adjacent to residential district, animals may not be left outdoors from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. And B, outdoor dog area is allowed to use wrought iron fencing as an allowed screening material. Concerning storage, no storage, outside storage is allowed. All building areas used for storage and or accessory uses are to be designed and constructed as a continuation of the main building and construct with the same materials and color. No business shall be display or store goods or equipment outside of an enclosed building. Screening, all fences and walls shall be opaque. Building materials for screening. Screen shall be constructed of wood fence boards, plastic, or PVC materials, provided such materials are designed for use as fencing and or masonry materials or concrete poured or placed in such fashion as to meet city fence designing requirements. And lighting, the exterior or lighting fixture shall be shaded so that direct light is directed away from adjacent residential areas. Uses allowed for heavy commercial and light industrial are at the bench for you to review. And the applicant is here to answer any questions you may have.
As part of the staff report, would you tell us what the proposed land use is, why we need to go to industrial, and what the protective overlay will do?
To be able to have a dog kennel, it would have to be switched from heavy commercial to light industrial. Just to the north of here is another dog daycare kennel place that is also light industrial. Anything for like concerning a animal hospital would be in the light commercial area. And that would not require a dog kennel, but anything that would require a dog kennel is zoned under light industrial.
And the protective overlay is doing what for us?
It is to make sure that there is adequate fencing, so that way there's no dog noise that would be above level, that be going to be obnoxious, like to the north where there's residential. Then you don't want any animals running into the streets because you have Broadway right there to your west, and then Kane Drive to your south, so you don't want them to be able to get out and run into the roads.
And it also prohibits these specific land uses as part of the protective overlay, correct?
Correct.
That is outdoor storage, yard and towing, auction house, car sales, repair, flea market, and commercial storage.
Correct.
Everything else inside light industrial would be allowed with the zone change?
Yes.
Any questions for staff? Under your recommendations, outdoor dog area is allowed to use wrought iron fencing as an allowed screening material?
Correct.
Wrought iron fencing is not a screening material if you can see through it, right?
So it would only be a permitted use, permitted for that use only. It would not be permitted for anything else. So only for an animal kennel, for an outdoor dog area, would it only be, the wrought iron would be allowed.
Well,
would
it
not
doesn't
be-
meet the basic definition of screening that you have right below it. That's my point.
Okay,
If we want screening, we want screening. If you want to have a wrought iron fence inside the screening, I think I'm fine with that. But this doesn't meet the screening requirements that we have on the same page.
We can change that, remove that if that's what you want. We were
Well,
just
it's,
doing
it's up
that.
for discussion, but
Yeah.
it seems pretty straightforward to me. Any other questions for staff? Is the applicant or their agent here? Would you like to speak?
Hi, my name's Amy Hegestad, and I'm the founder and president of Beauties and Beasts Incorporated Rescue, and this is our board member, Jennifer Sanders. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for the opportunity to join the Haysville community, and we're really excited for the plans that we have to bring for the community and to bring to the table for Haysville. The property on 7030 Broadway, what we're looking to do is just create a small upscale adoption center. So inside the building now, there is examination rooms of 14, 7, I believe it goes down on each side. And those would turn into suites that would house a dog. And therefore, the community and people from other communities will be able to come in and visit the dog or the cats that we have available for adoption and adopt the animal. What we were looking to do also to bring for the community is we have currently school programs that we do an anti-bully program, and we teach children how to properly treat and act around animals so that they know how to interact and how to properly care for them as well. We would like to bring an elderly and a shut-in program to do an outreach of bringing food and support to those people. Maybe they can't get to the vet. We can help them with grooming and things like that as well. Also, I'm gonna get lost, I apologize. Microchip vaccination clinics at a low cost or reduced cost to the community to prevent any kind of parvo, outbreaks and give the animals the protection they need. We look forward to maybe possibly doing a spay and neuter program so that we can get animals altered also at a reduced rate. The center of the building will be a vet area for us, where it was a medical in the center as well. The back, there's a few offices that will house some cats as like a cat sanctuary. And so it's really kind of a small upscale adoption center and a community where the community can get together and do things as well. We'll have, we'd like to have summer programs for the children. We would have things like, events utilizing the site. What we're talking about with the fencing that was brought up by the staff, sir, is that the screening would still remain up against the residential and the backside if necessary. The front, what we're envisioning, and we don't have the plans drawn out yet, but next to the building is the grassy area that we'd like to turn into just like a little park area. So it's not an area where there's gonna be a lot of dogs running around. It's just gonna be like a small, if somebody wants to come and take one of the dogs out to be in the area, then they could do that. If a wrought iron fence is not what you would wish, then a screening would be perfect with us too. If you have anything else to say?
Okay.
Any questions? I know I went fast and I'm not real good at speaking. I skipped drama class.
I have a question. How many animals do you see having on residence there?
I believe what we were probably looking at is maybe 12 to 14 dogs. And then having cats in individual rooms in the back. So I would say maybe 8 cats in this room, maybe 8 in this room. There would be 4 rooms along the back side that would house them. One area in the suites would be like a maternity area. So if there is a mother that is pregnant and ready to have, that we don't have a foster for, then she could go in there until we could get a foster available for her. But it would really be only like 12 to 14 dogs.
Would it clarify that you have a shelter somewhere else?
We do. We have, currently we have a shelter in Wichita, thank you for that. That is actually our boarding facility where we will keep that facility as well. So any kind of overflow is gonna be there. Any dogs that are ready for adoption would come down here. We would like to also offer Haysville, probably a suite that any of the dogs, your strays, we'd like to partner with animal control here, that we can offer your dogs for adoption, therefore they don't have to transfer to the Wichita Animal Shelter, where they would possibly be in danger of euthanasia. And if needed be, we could transfer, we network with a lot of rescues out of state, and we could help transfer those out to other rescues and find placement for them as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Any other questions? Now's the time for any member of the public to speak. You have 5 minutes. If you're presenting good factual information, this time may be extended. I have Daniel Benner. And, sorry, before you start, Susie, are you here to talk about something other than this case?
Yes,
Okay. Do you mind if I just move you under off agenda and let you speak then?
yes.
Okay. Sorry, Daniel, go ahead.
That's fine, that's fine. My name's Dan Benner. I own the property immediately to the north of the site there. Some of the questions I had have been answered already. I wanted to kind of loop back around. We're saying that 12 to 14 is going to be the maximum number of dogs that would be there at any time?
To be clear, I think that's what they're saying, but that's not anything that's written into the protective overlay.
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to know was how many animals are we talking about as a capacity here for this location? And I also wanted to clarify, is this operation is a rescue, not just a dog kennel?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
So are there other types of animals that could potentially be here on this site?
That's, again, that's for this specific land use, but what we're talking about is a zone change that would allow that in the future. So
I understand.
I think
So-
that is a possibility.
Would there be any animals that are kept outside?
No, that's one of the provisions that is laid out in the staff report is every animal has to go inside from, I believe, 9 PM to 7 AM.
Yes.
I'm never gonna find it now, there it is.
That's correct.
That, clear that up?
Yes, and is there a plan for what portion of the area of the lot would be fenced? Is it all the lot, or are we talking about smaller individual kennels adjacent to the building? Is there a plan for that?
I think every, and I don't know if it says in here or not, but I think the intent is every property line against a residential property. I don't know that there's any requirement on the front.
They would just have to follow, get a fence permit and follow as far as easements and everything like that. But only the side against the residential would have to be screened
Yes.
for sure.
I was more concerned with containment of animals than I was about screening. So that's the direction I was going with that.
So I think the fencing requirement, and depending on what the fencing permitting process is, I think that's gotta be a 6-foot fence unless we would allow something shorter, but I wouldn't imagine in this case.
So
we
it
would.
has to be 6 foot. It can go up to 10 foot, I believe, for industrial.
Yes.
And it would have to be wood, and this wrought iron requirement, I guess if you have wrought iron fence with some sort of screening material on it, that may meet that requirement as well. But as written here, it doesn't meet the requirement as far as I'm concerned, and I think we'll address that.
Okay. I just have one other question, and I'm gonna have to plead ignorance. I don't know much about animal rescues and these kind of facilities. How do you dispose of all the waste?
We can ask that question when you're done. I don't know either, so I'm gonna have to ask the same question.
One or two dogs is one thing, but, 12 to 14 or possibly more could potentially be something else. I just, don't want
Okay.
that to be in a big pile by my back door.
Is that the last item you had?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Oh, sorry, are there any questions for him before he steps down? Okay. Now the applicant, I guess I'll ask you to come back up and answer that question if you can.
Okay. How many animals will be residing there would be the 12 to 14. Could there be like a potential adopter bring an animal in to do a dog introduction, things like that? But yes, residing there, that is the plan with the suites, and then the cats in the back area.
So, but to be clear, you're talking about 14 dogs plus 16 cats.
Roughly, yes. I mean, I don't have that exact numbers, but for the dogs, I do know that for a fact because that's what each suite is gonna turn into.
So if we were to put a max number of animals in the facility, what would you say that should be?
If we're gonna include cats, I'd wanna like look at the number. I would have to look at what their plan is for the cats in the sanctuary, because what they're building is the sanctuary will go in the back. And no, these are only companion animals, so no horses, pigs, or snakes, or anything like that. I would wanna look at it to give you an accurate number, but I mean, there would be no more than, I can't say that a mom with a litter wouldn't have like 10 puppies, but they would all be under the 8 weeks old. Probably wouldn't be staying there because they typically go to foster homes. We use foster homes a lot. So to give you an accurate answer, sir, I don't want to do that, but
So if we said 40?
if you're talking total 40 animals, I'd want to look at the cat situation and how they have that set up.
Sorry to interrupt, so just what she said, for the 8 cats per the 4 rooms would be 32 at least, and then if 15 to 20 dogs, the 40 isn't gonna cover it. I would think you'd probably be looking
Oh,
at a
there's
max.
4 rooms in the back with cats?
There would be, yeah, there's 4 rooms,
With 8
and then
cats
there's
each?
there's a center x-ray room area too, that we're gonna turn into like a meditation area, so it will have like, fountains and things like that cats like. But everything is enclosed, no animals are gonna be outside unattended. We are considering the height of the fence, we definitely wouldn't do anything lower than a 6 foot. We actually discussed an 8-foot fence, to be honest with you. Wrought iron would only have been discussed for the front if we turn that into a park area.
Okay.
Not along the residential side at all. Disposal of waste, currently,
We have a commercial dumpster.
yeah, I think we have it, which wouldn't be on your side, it would be probably more on the industrial side.
That goes into a bag and into the dumpster? Okay. Any other questions?
And then kennels outside you had asked about. What would be probably, the plan is, we would have like 2 or 3 contained areas, because when we do dog introductions outside, or if they want to take a small play group outside, it would be in a contained like 10 by 20 area. But that would go like kind of along the backside of the property, but no animals are gonna be kenneled outside like you would think of what people do. So no, there would be, have a companion with them, a human companion with them at all times. And typically, they wouldn't be outside during the evening hours, because the place would be closed, unless there was an event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you, Fred.
I'll second.
Motion and second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Public comment is now closed for commission action. The floor is open to commissioner comments.
I have one thing, just a question on the conflict of interest I have. My family has adopted dogs from them, so I don't know if I need to be excluded.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, I appreciate you mentioning it.
Yeah, it's
but
when
I
I
don't
just,
think it's.
when I don't know why, I just thought of it when you were talking, so wanted to be clear.
Thank you. Any other questions or just general discussion? So one thing I do want to point out is staff has already listed some of the industrial uses they would like to omit, prohibit as part of the protective overlay. I think we should go through and look at the list that was provided and see if there's anything else. Like item F, concrete and asphalt mixing plants. I think it's probably a pretty good candidate that we don't want right there. I'd like that to be added to the protective overlay.
Sorry, you on E or F?
F,
Okay.
foundry casting lightweight, non-ferrous metal. Freighting or trucking yard or terminal.
Will you tell me letters? I'm sorry.
J, K, grain storage and elevators, L,
Okay,
industrial storage warehouse, maybe that's okay. I would really, the purpose is for that kind of stuff to go into the industrial park. I understand the nature of their business and needing a street front for, what's the word? Eyeballs.
visibility.
Visibility, thank you. I don't know why my brain stopped. But a lot of these are industrial for a reason, and I don't think we would want them on Broadway if given the opportunity.
Agree.
Q,
Yeah. But apparently that's okay if you're industrial. Yeah, just so that outdoor storage of this would probably prohibit that already, but it's probably we're just prohibiting altogether. R,
Okay.
S,
W,
don't get too far ahead.
oh,
I got it.
T,
You don't think T? Manufacture and maintenance of electronic and neon signs? If that's happening inside the shop, I don't know that I have much concern with that.
okay.
What do you think, Nicole? You still feel pretty strongly?
I could go either way.
And the same thing with you, if that's happening indoors. I don't know that I care if they had a kiln with a pottery shop.
Exactly.
I think metal recycling is probably, you got there before I did, but we got there now. Outdoor storage yard, that you already got, right? X.
Correct.
Correct.
Poultry and rabbit dressing, I don't think we want.
Nope.
Sheet metal and wholesale plumbing,
I'm okay with that.
it would have to be all inside, so. Small boat building, stone monument, vehicle restoration.
I would say A, B is stone monument, because most of that kind of work's gonna be done outside.
Okay. We good with everything else?
Yeah.
Let's go back and pick up B as well. Assembly and maintenance of oil rigging, agricultural implements and equipment.
Okay, so we do also need to go through E, because as you notice, the way the code is written right now, anything on one, any permitted use in heavy is allowed in industrial. It's one of the things we're looking at changing, but just it's getting there, so. Of course, if it's already listed, so you might just wanna glance through, that's why we gave you heavy commercial, to make sure there's nothing in there that you wanna make sure it's listed.
I would propose we make a blanket statement that any heavy commercial would be omitted as part of that protective overlay. If you got a better way of doing that, rather than listing all of these out.
That's why we had went with the restrictions, trying to keep some of them out, but we can do the blanket statement of removing.
Well, alternatively, we could make the only allowed use as that kennel. And then, should that business not be there 10 years from now and somebody else wants to do something, they can come here and ask us to allow it as part of that protective overlay. That's probably the better way to do it.
Okay,
that's an option?
Till Georgie tells me it's not.
unless I legally find out it's not, but that's a protective overlay, the allowed use. You're stating what you're going to allow there.
I think for this instance, we allow that one single use, and should that not be what it develops into in the future, then we have the opportunity to modify that as we see fit.
I
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that's the way you want to go, I would still like you to address each one of these to see if you want to keep with this screening and make sure you want to keep that the same. So with that allowed use, no outside storage would still not be allowed. The screening on the residential side, so.
So now we're looking for what we want to keep.
Well, for the protective overlay, we're going to allow this use only.
Yeah. Are there any other uses we would like to allow with this?
No. For this, what stipulations would you like? The storage you'd still like to keep there? No outside
Oh.
storage? That's what I mean.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I think I am okay with the, bringing the animals in at 9, putting them out at 7.
Okay?
If anybody else has any discussion on that, and I don't know what your opinion is, sir, but if those hours work for you. The wrought iron fencing, I think we need to tidy up and specify that screening needs to be screening and wrought ironing is allowed in the front, but the statement that wrought iron fencing is allowed as a screening material just needs to be stricken.
Okay, so we could do, wrought iron fencing would only be allowed on the, front. I can't
On the
think.
non-screened portions of, or inside the screened portions of. I mean, I think if you're running separate pins inside the screening, I think that's fine, and you can use wrought iron for that, but it's, the intent to use it as screening, I don't think is correct.
Okay, so we can change that to on the front yard only.
Yes.
Do you want to allow kenneling outside or
Nope,
no outdoor kenneling? Do you want that added?
no. No outdoor kennel.
Okay, we can add that.
That's something you don't want, correct?
We're not gonna house outdoor kennels, we will have like play areas,
Yeah.
like a 10x20 or 10x10.
And I think that's what
There's
we're
no
fine with, but yeah.
living outside arrangements. Now, the cats will have like a cattery, a little cattery that they can go in and out.
You're gonna have to define cattery for me, I'm sorry.
It's like a patio for cats that's all fenced, you know, it's all screened in, so
Yeah.
they keep protected, but they wouldn't be outside during the nighttime either. They would, it's just so they can get fresh air, go in and out,
Okay,
but they
Georgie,
would come in and be shut in and
please
cattery.
record that definition for the future.
So I don't know how you want that.
Patio.
Now, I think the lighting requirements is also good, that it be directed away from adjacent properties.
Okay,
I don't know that I can think of anything else that we should restrict with this, but I'm open to any ideas anyone has.
so residential side, we would say with the wood fencing on residential side.
Well, any of the
For
approved
requirements.
screen materials I'm fine with. If it wants to
Okay.
be a concrete wall, I'm fine with that too, but wrought iron I don't think is appropriate.
Okay. What about the maximum number of animals? Just from numbers that she threw out real quickly, I think it would have to be at least 60. And you have the chance of someone having babies and that could go up or
Yeah,
down.
and I understand the variable nature and all of that, but what I don't want is for you to sell this to somebody else 2 years from now and they put 250 dogs in there and it's all completely allowed because we weren't smart enough to consider it. So
Right, no, I completely respect that.
I think if 60 is the number that gets you what you need, and it all has to happen inside, and that gives us the ability to,
Is there, because of not knowing whether we're gonna have a puppy pen or kittens, is there a way we can push it to like a 75 number? Because there may be a time that we have like puppy pen with puppies in there, you know, 10 puppies or 10 kittens in a,
yeah, and I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but
and I completely respect, no, we wouldn't want 250 animals or somebody else to, I'm sorry.
License requirements?
Yeah, we're licensed under the USDA, Department of the Ag, and inspected yearly.
yeah, my problem is if we flex out to 75 for that instance, that 75 is the number for the next guy. So
What about an adult number?
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
thinking.
what I
Okay.
was thinking.
thank you.
That'd make it a lot easier.
Okay. for 60 adults.
Is 60 what you need? Can you do 50? And we can limit the number of puppies, kittens to 20, 30?
Yeah, as residing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, I think you're probably gonna wanna foster somewhere else anywhere, because you don't have room.
Right, yeah, it's a very small building,
Yeah.
it's small
Right.
scale, for sure.
So where did we end up?
I think we're at 50 adults for sure.
Okay, and we can still limit the number of puppies, kittens?
We could do 50 adults and 25 puppies, kittens.
Yeah, I
Let's-
think,
Let's not specify puppies, kittens, because if it's just, that means there couldn't be anything else, any other animals. Is that all you're going to be dealing with?
Companion animals, dogs and cats.
No other,
We don't take in guinea pigs or.
yeah,
ferrets.
but again, the next guy could have
True,
200 turtles in there, and,
true.
That would sell it.
okay.
and I think that number changes if it's guinea pigs or something else,
Sure.
but at this point,
Okay,
we have to limit the largest animals first, and then if somebody comes in there and wants to do a turtle farm, that they can bring it back to us and ask us to change the number, and we can consider that at that time.
It would have to be allowed under the city code. I'm not sure turtles would be prevented, but
so it'd be dogs and cats only.
you could say that.
Yeah, I would like to say that.
We could limit it to dogs and cats only,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, because I don't want, like, we keep talking about the next guy, I don't want 50 horses in there, or.
Can't have those, but yes. So dogs and cats only, and we're at 50 adults and
30
Yeah,
kids.
and I don't know how you specify young animals.
yeah, we're gonna have to look up a definition for that.
I guess we could just say 80 total.
Yeah, I'd rather not do that, because I don't want 80 adults in there, that's the whole point.
50.
So we're gonna have to put an age range on the puppies, and I'll have to, it'll probably be under 1 year of age.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then residing, correct? So when we have events and things like that, it's understood that they'll be.
Yeah, and I don't wanna charge you for your customers and all that stuff, that shouldn't count against what we're doing, but animals that are housed on a facility, I think is what we're talking about.
Yes.
And we'll make that clear in the language.
Okay,
Any other discussion or comments? Then I would entertain a motion.
Well, I'm sorry, yes, do we need to have all this written before we vote on it and clarify it, or can we go ahead and vote?
No, I think if Georgie's got it all, we should be able to make a motion and approve changes mentioned in the room that Georgie's recorded.
so the way I understand it is we're only going to allow the zone change for industrial with the use of an animal hospital kennel with the following restriction: dogs and cats only. There'll be a max of adult animals of 50, and then puppies, kittens of 30 under 1 year of age. Outdoor screening for residential side would be required, has to be OPEC. No outdoor storage is allowed. Lighting will still be the same. The hour requirement from 9 to 7 a.m. Dogs won't be outside for visits or anything
Or
during that.
cats.
Or cats. Anything else I'm missing?
I think that's it.
The building materials for screening will stay, so.
Yeah.
No wrought iron fencing.
Yeah, that, I was wondering about that. So the wrought iron fencing, again, was only for the front Broadway
Yeah.
side. If we have like a small park in there, the dog introduction and whatever would be in the back side, and the residential side would be screened with a 6 or higher fence.
Right, and if you want separation with wrought iron inside the screened areas, I think that's fine, but this,
And that we wouldn't be doing, I don't believe that was what we would be doing.
well, you've
It
got
was
to
only-
partition different areas into different areas somehow, so however you want to do that, I think it's fine, as long as it's all screened.
So
Okay,
we
so
would,
the front Broadway side will have to be screened even if it's a park? Is that my understanding?
No,
Yeah.
just
No.
against the
Okay.
residential property.
Okay, thank you.
okay, so wrought iron would only be allowed on the front yard side. We would let
Or
have
inside
that.
the screened areas.
Okay. Okay. So that's what you would be approving.
So
Yeah.
if they run wooden fence east and west on the north side of the property, they could run wrought iron on the west side of the property to the south to the building?
Yeah. That's what we're saying. And if you don't like that, speak up now. The same, I think the other thing we're saying is the east line of the property would have to be screened. Is that residential as well?
No, that's industrial
Okay.
on the east. Immediately to your west and south is the road.
Yeah, so that's the next question. The south line of the property, whether it's the south line or not, the south fence line, should that be wrought iron or should that be wood to screen from the street?
Yeah. That's where I was,
That's why I was saying only allowing wrought iron on the front yard,
On
front
Broadway.
side Broadway. The rest of it would have to be some type of the other allowed screening materials.
I think I
That's
agree
it.
with that.
That's it.
Now, if they use fencing in between that you can't see from the exterior for
Yeah.
wrought iron separating, they can, but
Yes.
the exterior fence has to be of that, one of these allowed materials, but the front yard property along Broadway could be wrought iron.
Agreed.
Okay.
That's it.
so if they ran off the north side of the property to the residential, it'd have to be wood fence or whatever.
OPEC, yes.
So do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve with the notations that we discussed.
For protective overlay 10.
Yeah, for the protective overlay.
A second?
Have a motion and second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next item under new business is review the Haysville Parks Master Plan.
Yes. In front of you is the yearly review for the Haysville Parks Master Plan. This was reviewed by the Park Board and Historic Committee. It's for you to review.
I don't have a copy of the Parks Master Plan.
It was emailed out for your review. We have one copy down here. I can hand it around if you guys want to review it. We can table this till next item if you guys still need further time to review.
Has anybody looked at it?
I
did.
skimmed through it.
I think maybe we table this and I'm gonna need a motion for that, but table this to the next meeting so that we can have the time to review it.
What is it we need to decide on?
So the park plan and the historic plan all ties into the comprehensive plan. It doesn't require a public hearing because it's not actually a piece of it, but the separate committees of Park Board and Historic put these together and they present it to you because it's part of the whole city's planning process. So you guys are basically reviewing it to see if there's anything you want changed, any suggestions you have or anything like that. So
Didn't we do this a while back?
We
We
do
do
it
it-
almost every year.
we do it every
Oh.
year. So it's basically just a review to look through so that you guys know what changes were made, what's going on, what their plans are for the whole city.
Well, I reviewed it and I'm prepared right now to vote on it, but if we want to table it, that's, you know, I'm fine with that too.
Thoughts?
I skimmed through it, but it's a pretty massive little document, so I didn't study it as well as I'd like to.
Yeah, I don't know that I looked at it at all, so I don't know that I could vote for or against anything in it at this point without reviewing a copy, so.
Were there really any changes, do we know, from the last?
Yeah, it was pretty there's more extensive changes this year. Country Lakes Park was added, changes were done to Dorner Park. Yeah, I mean, it's fine for you guys to table it. You'll have the bicycle plan, bicycle and pedestrian master plan to review for next meeting as well too,
Okay,
so.
so I would entertain a motion for that then.
I move we table, Parks Master Plan review for next meeting.
Motion and second to table this item until next meeting, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? No old business, no correspondence, off agenda. Thank you for being patient, and thank you for your help earlier. You can come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hey, my name is Susie Sutton, and I'm at 349 East K Avenue here in Haysville. I appreciate you letting me take the time to speak. I know this item isn't being addressed yet, but I felt if I waited till the plans were presented, that was kind of too late. I wanted to talk about the development related to the new assisted living facility. The road connecting K Avenue and Carla Avenue. And I'm sorry I don't have a map, but if you're familiar with the River Forest area, they'll be building the assisted living facility. And currently K comes from Broadway headed west, and it stops on K, and you go south, and then you take Hemp Hill east, and then you take Delos north and go on to Carla and continue going west. And currently, there's a lot of problems with speeding on both Carla and K. K in the trailer park area, and then on Carla and River Forest area. I myself, it was the week of your last meeting, I wasn't able to attend, but that week I was walking in my neighborhood and I watched someone pass another car on Carla. And I was going to work and driving on K in the trailer park, and I was past myself. So this is the kind of traffic we see on this road. And my concern is once you connect K with Carla and you have a straight through road, it's only going to get worse. And if we're having this kind of traffic now, it's just going to be, a drag strip. So I would like the committee to think about and work with the planning, who's planning the road. I think it's PEC or PC, I don't know, the development company. And see if there's a way something can be done when we add that section so that it's just not a straight through drag strip. I mean, there currently is a stop sign right after you leave the trailer park, there's a little curve. There's a stop sign, a three-way stop, but we still have that traffic issue.
So you don't have a concern with the assisted living facility or any of that? Your major concern is just the speeds and the dangerous nature of that street?
Yes, because currently the plan is with the assisted living facility, they're just going to build that road straight through. There's a house, I think 441 Carla. It might be called Carla Court. And then a big empty space that it's designed for that road to go straight through.
So I can tell you there are some things we can do that are considered traffic calming, but I will also tell you that there is very little we can do to make teenage boys smarter than they actually are.
It's not just teenage boys.
It's not?
It's middle-aged ladies, middle-aged men.
Okay, then it sounds to me like it's also an enforcement issue, and maybe we can ask PD to put an extra effort into that neighborhood.
And then we've had police down in our section. They've been there, they've set up the speed monitor off and on. I mean, there's not a lot they can do other than sit there all the time, but I know they have the whole city to watch.
Right. Is the area you're talking about where this is happening, are there no houses there?
No, this is right in Carla where all those houses are,
Okay.
and there's homes with children. Unfortunately, I live up on K, around the corner, so I don't have to worry about this as much, and I don't have children running out in the street. But I do deal with it because we don't have sidewalks and I'm walking in the street. So I have to dodge the cars, but it's just, and as I said, I was going to work, 'cause I work on Broadway, and driving down through the trailer park and got passed. I work with someone who lives in the trailer park, and he actually gave me a letter, which I forgot. And he wrote a letter for me to bring, voicing his concerns as well, about the traffic on in his area, because I think they used to have bumps and they were taken out.
Okay.
So I didn't know, like, if a circle could be put, like, where the K is gonna come into the neighborhood, and then, I don't know what the road is gonna be called that turns up to the, assisted living. So I don't know if right there a circle could be made, or if they could take K and then, instead of straight through, make it go up towards the parking lot and then have to curve it back down or something.
Okay.
Just look at it, because,
If you do have that letter, would you get that to city staff and we can
Yeah.
see if we can send it to the appropriate people and see if we can get it addressed?
yeah, he was gonna ask for a couple of other neighbors to write some, which is also why I didn't bring it in the,
Okay, just whenever you get that put together, if you give it to city
Yeah.
staff and we can see what we can do with it?
okay,
Okay, thank
I
you.
will. So, thank you for your time.
No other off agenda? Item 9.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion and second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, everybody.